Hi. Welcome to another edition of Between Two Chains. I'm your host, LDF. My guest today is Angus Lamp. Sorry, Lamps. Welcome, Lamp.
Thank you, LDF.
All right, so I went through all 3,273 of your tweets, and you say Hydra a lot.
I do.
And I don't know much about bridges, but what does any of this have to do with your hydration routine? Because your skin is radiant.
Thank you. Actually, the name Hydra was inspired by my skincare routine. Both my skincare routine and Hydra have been successful recently, so thank you for pointing it out.
You run a bridge.
I do.
But not a real bridge. Not like the Golden Gate Bridge.
No.
Your bridge moves fake internet money between different chains with names like Barachain and Degen. How would you respond to your grandmother when she says that's not a real job?
I would say that's probably less of a real job than her nursing career was, but I think it's still valuable.
Your bridge has multiple products. There's a taxi and a bus, and they move assets between chains. Very exciting, very Web3. Supposedly, they move things cheaper and faster than your competitors.
It's true.
But then there's this thing called Hydra.
Yes.
Is that a type of water transport?
No. It's actually that you can also take a taxi to Hydra.
I'm confused.
We can get into it.
Okay. Stargate connects like 35 chains?
45.
45 chains. Why? Why are there so many chains? Rappers only need 2 chains. Why does crypto need so many? It feels excessive.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we should learn from the rap game.
So we only need 2 chains?
We need to sit between them.
So there's too many chains.
Not yet.
All right. In a recent presentation, you said that interop is solved.
I did.
For a reason I still don't understand, no one was able to ask a follow-up question on that, so I will. What do you do now? Like, are you out of a job? Should I be concerned about you?
We have built the technology that solves interop. And so I would say all of the tools that developers need to solve interop are now available. And now we need to go tell them about it.
So you still have work to do.
Still have work to do. We still have people to talk to. I
And
think
chains.
the technology has been built, but the chains and the people need to hear about it.
The chains and the people.
There are only 2 chains, luckily.
Luckily, we only need 2 chains.
Luckily, we only need 2 chains.
And Angus is sitting between them. And that's all we need to know. Angus.
We're done.
Thank you
Welcome
for
to the
episode.
podcast.
Thank you so much. I am very excited to be
I
here.
have so many questions flying around in my head right now.
Are yours friendlier or less friendly than LDF?
I am mostly interested in knowing more about your skincare routine, but I
Okay.
don't think that's what this podcast is about. So maybe I can ask you that
We can talk about it later.
afterwards. But I'm very, very intrigued.
Thank you.
Hydra. I also want to
The skincare or the product?
that's what I'm confused
Okay.
about is there's so many things that Hydra refers to. And where do we start? I think, you know what? Okay, I'm going to collect my thoughts. First of all, Angus, welcome to the podcast. This is Between Two Chains. This is
Thank
a
you.
collaboration between Rehash and LayerZero.
I'm very
We're
excited
very
to be
happy to have you here today.
I'm very happy to be here.
To start off, I would love to know what interoperability means to you because it means different things to different
It's a hot
people.
word right now. Everybody's saying it, but
Everyone
They're
keeps
making
saying
hats about it.
interop
They're-
is solved. And what I've gathered
Everyone's
is
saying
I think
it.
I came into the series being like, interop is not solved because I live mostly on the consumer end user side. And throughout the last few episodes, I think what I've concluded is that interoperability is solved or almost solved on the infra side. And it's a lot less so solved on the consumer end user side. But so just to set the stage for this conversation we're about to have, what does interoperability mean to you?
I probably couldn't have said it better myself. I think when I think about interoperability, I think about it from the infrastructure side and the developer side. And I think, as I just said, the infrastructure for interop is available today, but I do not think the consumer and the application level is solved. So interoperability, to me, means that we have many different chains and many different execution environments for a number of different reasons. And there are some specific use cases where you need to access states from one execution environment in another execution environment, and they do not have native interoperability. That is the whole point. And so the technology that LayerZero has built enables arbitrary message passing between those two execution environments or between many execution environments. The application that we have built on Stargate facilitates value transfer between two different execution environments. And I think when people think about crypto today, a lot of it pertains to value transfer and tokens and money. I think DeFi is probably like the biggest thing that we use within crypto today. Hopefully it will not be forever. But in short, interoperability to me means the ability at the infrastructure level to move data between two different chains. And for Stargate, that data pertains to value and ERC20s and tokens.
And so is that mostly via bridging, or are there other mechanisms that we should be thinking about?
There are many mechanisms. Stargate is a bridge. At its core, it allows value transfer between two different chains or many different chains. And so when people think about bridging, they are, if you're trying to design or trying to like architect a bridge in your head, you are probably thinking about it the way that Stargate does it. Move money into one pool on one chain, you release money from one pool on another chain.
What do you think are some of the big unlocks that interoperability is going to enable for DeFi that we're not seeing now or we can't do like efficiently now?
I think the biggest unlocks that interoperability will enable are the like end consumer application experiences that everyone is like talking about.
Yeah.
So when people talk about like DeFi being broken or like DeFi applications being broken, I think it is because everyone who onboarded 3 or 4 years ago was using Ethereum mainnet, and it was super expensive, and there's 12-second block times, and that's not what we're used to from Web 2. And so what I think all of the different chains, I may have said that we only need 2 chains. We probably need a few
He did
more
say
than
that. We're going to clip that.
What
No
having
takebacks.
more L2s and L3s and different execution environments means is that we have enough block space to create good user experiences. And so now with things like flash blocks and having like between 10 and 200 millisecond blocks, you can have like a good Web 2 user experience. But in order to do that, you need different chains. And if you have different chains, you need interop.
On the topic of new chains, I feel like Stargate in particular has found just a lot of success with people who love chains, which is new chain deployments.
Yes.
And so a lot of times when people think about the problems with interop, they're thinking about existing chains and moving assets between them. But like, can you talk about the importance of what a chain needs to be successful on day one, how you work with them, and yeah, like what that looks like?
Yeah, I think that's also changed a lot over the past 6 months, or at least the conversations that we've had about it has changed a lot. Ultimately, regardless of whether you're building like a general purpose chain or you're building an app chain specific to your application, what you are looking for is users and, again, typically liquidity. And so the conversation that we have a lot with chains that are looking to launch is about how can you best facilitate the onboarding of users and liquidity to your ecosystem on day one. And I think historically that has not kind of been a focus. The focus has been kind of how do I grow my ecosystem? How do I make sure I have the right developer tooling for people to build applications? But I think now when a chain is launching, and I think Berachain probably did this most successfully, they think a lot about how do I make sure that when my chain is launching, there are already users, there are already applications, and critically, there is already liquidity available. And so the product that we built with Stargate V2 and Hydra, its goal really was to help facilitate the onboarding of that liquidity in the most seamless way, both for users and developers.
And how do you do that?
So with Stargate V1, like going back 3 or 4 years, 3 years when it first launched, the idea was that people hate wrapped assets. Like wrapped assets are a real taboo word within crypto today because there's been a lot of bridge exploits, and wrapped assets ultimately are like a representation of the native asset underlying. But the fact of the matter is that there are so many different chains launching today that wrapped assets continue to proliferate. And our bet with Stargate V2 and Hydra was that if wrapped assets continue to proliferate, the best place for those assets to be issued is out of the Stargate V2 protocol. And so what Hydra is a bridging as a service module that can launch on day one of a chain. So again, taking Berachain as an example, we deployed the Stargate V2 protocol and specifically Hydra onto Berachain pre-mainnet, or at least pre-mainnet announcement. And what that enables is, again, both users and applications to bridge USDC, USDT, and wrapped ETH from any of the chains that we're connected to, which today is 45, into Berachain, and mint the same canonical representation of, for example, USDC. So if a user has USDC on Ethereum, they can bridge an unlimited size of USDC into Berachain, which is how people think about like a canonical bridge. But you can also do that from Arbitrum, or from Base, or from Optimism, or from Story, or from Abstract, or any of the other chains that we're connected to. And so what it enables an ecosystem to do is kind of meet their future user where they are today, rather than like forcing them to do kind of like a multi-hop step.
Yeah, I was going to say, so if they didn't do that, like what does that process look like for a new chain that wants that same outcome but takes a different approach?
The alternative is typically what you like associate an L1, L2 relationship to be. And so like an L1 can have a canonical bridge, or sorry, an L2 can have a canonical bridge down to Ethereum mainnet, where it like does the thing where it posts data, and that's why it's an L2. But also historically, typically most assets are issued out of that L1, L2 canonical bridge. And so when Arbitrum launched as an L2, the only place that you could bridge from was from Ethereum mainnet. And then third-party bridges could spin up like liquidity pools, or there were some intent-based bridges at the time where you could now access Arbitrum from other chains, but it's kind of limited in the amount of liquidity. And so Stargate was launched on Arbitrum on day one, and you could bridge up to a couple $100,000 in a transaction, but you pay 6 basis points of a fee. And what Stargate does is basically replicate that relationship of the L1, L2 canonical bridge with different trust assumptions, but across 45 different chains. And so the user, again, no matter where they have liquidity, can bring an unlimited amount of liquidity from the chain that they're on to the chain that they're going to. And the goal was really to make it like, people may have done that anyway. You may have bridged down to L1, and it may have taken you 7 days. If you're on Optimism and you wanted to get to Arbitrum, it may have taken you 7 days to get down to mainnet. You pay 3 mainnet gas costs, you go back up to
7 days.
I don't think many people have 7 days. I don't think chains that are launching and have been sprinting towards launching a mainnet have 7 days or 7 hours or maybe even 7
We're
minutes.
live,
I
but
feel like
wait 7 days.
Users don't even have 7 minutes
Yeah.
to wait.
No.
The patience is very, very limited.
Yeah, and so the other thing that like optimistic rollups have struggled with is that whole 7-day window from bridging down from L2 to L1. And so like they work very closely with partners like ourselves to make sure that there is enough liquidity from like L2 to L1. So today on Stargate, you could bridge like $100 million from base down to mainnet in 20 seconds. Which is very interesting to a lot of people who want to move $100 million in 20 seconds.
I've been wanting to move $100 million, and now,
Well, next
now
time
I
you're
know
moving
exactly.
You can move it over to my wallet next time. I'll send
Exactly.
you my wallet address.
Yeah.
I'm wondering from the, like, if you're comparing the technical challenge of building a bridge from an L2 to an L1 versus like bridging across ecosystems. Like if I want to move my ETH or my
Your
Optimism.
$100 million of ETH.
My $100 million.
Specifically
$100 million.
Yeah, just a small percentage of what I own in my wallet. If I wanted to move that in ETH to Bitcoin, for example, how does that technical challenge of building a bridge across ecosystems compared to building bridges within the EVM, for instance?
It does get very complex, and that's where credit is very much due to builders like LayerZero, who make it a lot easier for application developers to build
specifically.
this. Specifically LDF, who
Yeah.
built LayerZero.
Yeah. Of
Yeah,
course.
that's right. I thought
Thank
so.
you for your services.
Anytime.
They provide, I also used to work at LayerZero, so I know the LayerZero ethos, but the goal was to make the application and the developer experience unified across all of the different EVM chains, but also non-EVM chains. And so the experience has become a lot easier with the advent of things like the LayerZero messaging protocol, but it is still complicated. Like there is still, naturally it is like a different trust assumption that you're making. Like the L1, L2 canonical bridge is a very different trust assumption to like building a protocol on top of LayerZero. And not only that, but when you're kind of communicating between VMs, there are like different complexities around like finality and how the application actually interacts with the user and the accounts and things like that. So there it is definitely complicated, but I think there's a significant amount of credit due to arbitrary LDF, who built LayerZero and other messaging protocols out there.
On that note, I feel like when people like to say to me that interop is not solved, there's like always three things that they bring up. One is specific routes, another is speed, and another is cost. But specifically for the routes, like I'm curious, you obviously have seen a lot of like new chain launches and are watching where volume is moving around and what assets are moving. Like what insights have you seen about where people are prioritizing, like where there is actually demand, either on the asset side or the ecosystems themselves? Like, I
think it's your typical like 80-20 split, and within like crypto and DeFi today, it's probably even closer to like 90-10. Like there are ecosystems that are particularly attractive, and they're the top 10 within like DeFi Llama's TVL page. But I don't think that doesn't necessarily make like a smaller app chain that is built for like the consumer rather than like DeFi and TVL any less important, and therefore it shouldn't be like any less accessible.
He loves all the chains equally.
I love all the chains equally.
That can't possibly be true. Which ones are your favorite top three?
I like Ethereum mainnet.
That's one.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bitcoin. And no, I genuinely do like all chains. I currently have been having a lot of fun in the Bearchain ecosystem. I think there's a lot of interesting novel economics happening within Bearchain DeFi. So I like Bearchain.
This is likely a dumb question, but is Bearchain part of the EVM or are they separate?
Bearchain is an EVM equivalent L1 built on the Cosmos SDK.
Oh, okay.
The reason I asked that question though was specifically like chains are one thing, but like assets are another. And I know you just spoke about stablecoins for a while the other day. Like, at least to me, that always made sense as the most liquid, just useful asset across ecosystems. Like, is that what the data says? Like,
yes, I think clearly the Stargate V2 supports three assets: ETH as like a gas token, or wrapped ETH when we issue it out of Hydra, or USDC and USDT. And that is because those are the three assets that people care about the most. There are a lot of people that are very upset to be ETH bag holders at the moment, but people like to allocate their portfolios in purely ETH. And so people like to move ETH around. It is obviously the native gas token. And then I think, as a lot of people say within crypto, the kind of best use case that we found today is stablecoins. And ultimately, a lot of people also choose to denominate their portfolios in stablecoins, and so therefore choose to move stablecoins. They are also the most liquid across all chains. And so therefore, when a new ecosystem is launching, it is those assets that are most important to kind of bootstrap the liquidity for. And that is why Stargate offers those assets.
why did people shy away from providing services for stablecoins other than Stargate?
Before you answer that real quick, can you pull your mic a little closer to yourself?
Definitely.
Thanks.
Why did people shy away from providing services?
Yeah, if stablecoins seem so obvious, why is everyone not?
I mean, I think we're seeing a lot of development in the stablecoin space. There are a lot of people launching their own stablecoins. It is just not a very easy problem to solve for bridging.
Why?
So specifically, like related to native asset issuance, again, like the Stargate V1 bet was that every single ecosystem would choose only to use native assets. And the only USDC that will exist on our chain is native Circle issued USDC that can be redeemed to my bank account through Circle Mint. But again, there are way too many chains for Circle to be launching their significant infrastructure across all of these different chains. And so they've done a very, very good job of building out this bridge USDC standard that can be launched in a new ecosystem, such that if and when there's an agreement for Circle to kind of launch natively within that ecosystem, they can take over this bridge USDC asset. And so I think it's like, to the credit of our industry, I think we're innovating faster than like the technology can kind of keep up with. And I guess that's why we're talking about like, why is Interop so hard? Well, it's because we're building so many different execution environments, and we're innovating faster than the technology can kind of keep up. And so I think it's just stablecoins and interoperable stablecoins have historically been a very difficult problem to solve. And so you don't see that many people kind of tackling it. I think people shy away from solving the hard problems and try to kind of get the quick and easy fix, which I don't think is what our industry early on was about, but I think there's a lot more of that today.
It's interesting though, because like to that point, and we talked about this in an earlier conversation today with respect to like privacy and security settings, and like where those can be implemented from. Like I know we use the word permissionless a lot and throw it around, but the idea that someone can take into their own hands, like an ecosystem, for example, that an asset is a high priority for them, even if it isn't for the issuer themselves, I think is like something that is unique to our industry in the sense that, like people can deploy wrapped assets, like even without the permission of, and granted that opens a whole host of other problems and concerns, but like it is cool to see ecosystems not need to wait in line for proving all of these metrics before they can have access to the assets that their ecosystem demands.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's kind of to the credit of our industry that we're like innovating beyond what we're actually capable of doing. I think it's really cool to see, and like we're very excited to be playing a role in that, specifically with regards to stablecoins. And again, like to the credit of the asset issuers, they are also helping to facilitate that innovation, because the alternative, and probably what you'd see in like a more traditional setting, is that there would be an extensive amount of like legal and regulatory problems if you issued someone's asset and you called it the same name, but it's not actually their representation of the asset. Like,
can you explain that process of what that looks like? Because I think not a lot of people on the user side like really think about what a handoff like that would look like, or the fact that it even happens, or I mean, they don't want to think about it. Like USDC is USDC, but
I don't think they want to know what happens behind the scenes.
I want to know.
I do too.
I can tell you how the sausage
I was like, what do you mean?
It's actually, it's like,
Tell us how the
I was like, I
sausage is made.
asked.
I mean,
She's like, don't answer that.
I am naturally biased, but I think we've built like an incredibly neat solution to do it. And like, I'm glad that the user doesn't have to care, but it is.
But the people watching don't know, so tell them what
So
happens.
for the people.
You're
when
welcome.
you are bridging into a Hydra ecosystem. So when Stargate launches the Hydra bridging as a service module, we deploy, again, we'll take USDC as an example. We deploy the bridge USDC standard, which is, again, developed by Circle, which means that the ERC20 USDC that we deploy is exactly the same specification as like Circle would have deployed had they deployed there natively. And so we deploy straight out of the Circle like GitHub repo and have it verified and everything. And when you go to bridge, we'll take Berachain again as an example. When you bridge your USDC from Ethereum mainnet into Berachain, your USDC gets locked in a Stargate pool, and then the Stargate protocol will mint you one USDC.E, the bridged USDC version, on Berachain. And therefore, it is not like a Circle issue. Like Circle did not mint you that asset, but your USDC native is still on Ethereum mainnet and is ready for you to be redeemed whenever you want to. So it is a wrapped asset. It is a bridged asset, but it is deployed kind of in the best way that exists today, going back to what we spoke about earlier, that Circle will not natively be there. And so, again, our bet with Stargate V2, they can choose to do so in the future. And again, we'll get to the kind of how that handover process works. But some sort of trade-off had to be made. And when we were designing the Stargate V2 protocol, these were the trade-offs that we landed on, and we think it is the best solution. And we're glad that many ecosystems have kind of agreed and adopted these assets as their canonical assets. But I think most importantly for the user, you have USDC on Berachain. It is minted out of the Stargate protocol. If you want to leave back down to Ethereum mainnet at any point, you are free to do so. Your assets are available. If you want to leave to other ecosystems that we support, you are able to do so. And the handover process would look like, in theory, if there was an agreement made and Circle wished to take over that asset, this is kind of outlaid in our docs as well, but you pause bridging, we hand over the USDC asset to Circle. It is now native Circle. There will be a name change. Circle could deploy all of their infrastructure for kind of native burn and mint on that chain to the Circle account. And so you could now take the USDC on Berachain, redeem it for US dollars in your bank account through Circle Mint. And then Stargate would burn the underlying USDC that was held on Ethereum mainnet, which was native. That would just be burned because now the USDC on Berachain is quote unquote native.
It's cool that that's like planned though, like you can almost take a bet an early bet on an ecosystem again, like before it could have been prioritized by Circle. They can prove themselves and get to the point that they have the metrics to back up that they should use those resources to do so. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's been a really fun time working with all of these
Yeah.
ecosystems because they're, again, like if you are launching an L1 or an L2 or an L3 or whatever it is, like an app chain, all you want is the best chance at success.
Yeah.
And having the ability to bridge assets and bring in TVL from different chains is like such an important part of that. And you are now able to do so. And to your point, like prove yourself, like prove that there is
Exactly.
$100 million of USDC in my ecosystem. And that is important to asset issuers.
Why are you smiling over there?
I was just thinking about the 100 million I have in my wallet, and he's talking about 100 million in an ecosystem.
She's like, that's
so.
my 100 million.
You are
Yeah.
all of the TVL.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Okay, we touched on this at the very beginning, but like interop is a very hot word and narrative right now, specifically within the Ethereum ecosystem. But like, there's a lot of circular conversation, or at least it feels that way when talking to different teams who either define interoperability differently or, you know, have their own solutions. Like, I'd like to separate the difference between like, what do you think are the actual hard problems for interop teams to solve, and like, what's a solution looking for a problem, kind of.
I think it really depends who you ask.
I'm asking you.
So
You specifically.
I think the hard problem to solve and the problem that we are solving is liquidity movement between chains. I think what a lot of people are focusing on, which is also important, but not what I care most about, is the user experience and the application level experience, where you don't want to wait 7 minutes or maybe even 7 seconds. Like you want something to happen nice and easy, Web 2 experience, even though it's happening between two chains. And I think that is very important,
You're so good at this.
but I actually don't think that's a very hard problem to solve at all. I think it's
Why isn't it solved?
it is.
Okay, I'm not
Interop-
gonna lie. There's
Interop is solved between two chains.
Between two chains.
So
see, he pisses me off, and then he
I
says
know.
between two
And then
chains.
she's like,
and I'm like,
I'm happy
okay.
again.
Yeah.
I will give my nuances though. The movement of retail size volume between two chains is solved. And like the user experience there is pretty good. What a lot of people focus on is that like, and I agree with this, users shouldn't have to go to a bridging interface to like bridge. Like if I want to
Yeah.
use an application, my assets are on another chain, I should be able to do that, and the bridging should be built into my transaction.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And like we have developer tooling and so do many other teams to like help facilitate that. It's about informing the developers of that application that that's already possible and making it easier for them to do so.
So I'll give you just a specific example. Recently, everyone is doing airdrops, and I've received numerous airdrops from random chains.
This is how
$100
you
million
got your $100
worth.
million.
Yes, $100 million
Yeah.
worth of
Yeah, yeah.
airdrops.
Obviously.
Big Kaito yapper.
And so I like get these airdrops, and I'm like, to be honest, I don't really believe in the project, so I'm just gonna sell it, right?
You say that on air?
Yeah.
Not all the time, but sometimes. I didn't say
She's
which
like
ones.
every
Flip
single
that.
time. That's
Not
how I got all
every
the
single
ETH.
project is good. You guys both agree with that?
I like
I
all
like
chains and all projects.
I'm an unopinionated.
Okay, so I'm the
infrastructure.
only honest one on this podcast. But when I receive an airdrop and I want to just go and convert it to ETH or USDC or whatever, that is not an easy process.
No.
And like, I get that I'm not deep in the DeFi ecosystem, but I have worked full time in the space for over 5 years.
Yeah.
And someone like me, I feel like should easily in
How
like
do you try to do that?
2 minutes.
Because on
Well,
that note, it is interesting to
all
think
I
of the
know- okay,
reverse
so-
incentive of the person who gave you the airdrop. Like, they don't want to make that easy.
It's a good point.
Oh, no, true. Well, so I normally use like CowSwap to swap things, but sometimes I can't use CowSwap. So then I don't really know what to do. And then so I go and Google like how to do it. And then these things pop up and half of them are scams. Like 80% of them are
Yeah,
scams.
that-
So
Yeah.
I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
How do I figure this out? And so then I go
And then you hold the airdrop and you
I
never
either
sell it,
I
and
either
it
get
goes to
frustrated or
zero.
forget about it, and I
Yeah.
hold it and it goes
They're
to
like,
zero.
yes.
And now you have
Every
$100
single
million.
time,
Yeah.
I've never been rewarded for believing in a project. Oh,
Oh,
um,
anyway.
restart. This is awkward. But anyway, that's my problem and that's my pain point. And I
Yeah.
feel like we should be at a stage in 2025
Ironically,
where this
that's-
should not be a problem
Ironically,
anymore.
that's a same chain problem. Like, I don't imagine you're trying to sell that for ETH on a different chain. Maybe that is your ultimate end goal, but like, you want to find the liquidity for that token on that chain to be one of the first people to get rid of that token. And
One of the first people
or
to get
maybe
rid of.
not
Maybe
the first
not.
person.
Maybe wait a really long
yeah.
time.
It just depends, guys, okay?
Yeah.
You've both been there. Don't lie. Don't make me look like the bad person on the podcast. You've
never.
all done it.
I never.
I would never.
A bunch of
sell
liars.
anything.
I am very grateful.
I'm
for all of
podcasting with a
the-
bunch of
Yeah, I
liars.
love
all of the
airdrops,
Okay,
airdrops I've
great.
received.
Great.
No, I agree. I think that is definitely a problem. But again, ironic, like that's actually a same chain problem. That problem has existed since like Ethereum DeFi started, and I think
So how is interoperability solved? Like, how can you
because
knowing that?
because that is about finding like same chain liquidity. That's about like aggregating local DEX avenues, which CowSwap have done an incredible job of, and like I often use DeFi Llama Swap because it's an aggregator of aggregators, and like you just insert a token address and it'll find you the liquidity somewhere. And
We're like, so it's a Diana problem.
It's a me problem.
It's a you.
no, but again,
I
this,
figured.
Everyone watching,
this
she's
is like-
I'm googling how to do it.
this is the
Don't
problem.
do that.
DeFi is
I don't
not
click
solved.
anything.
DeFi is not solved. But to the
Clearly.
extent that DeFi is solved, Interop is also solved. That's my nuanced take.
Do you agree with that?
I think it comes back again to like the tech exists. It's like
Yeah.
the user interfaces are not optimized for all of these actions that
Yeah.
we're trying to take. But again, in some cases, that's by design.
Well, so okay, we asked some previous guests this question, like if interop is solved on the back end infra side, but it's not solved in the minds of most end users, what is missing? Like in your opinion, what is missing?
I think the right kind of minds, everyone in crypto, or many of the people who have been in crypto for a long time are kind of like smart contract and like blockchain builders. They are not like consumer facing application builders. And so I think what we're missing is like the intelligent minds that understand how like consumers and retail work.
Every person that we've talked to has said something along those
Yep.
lines.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of everyone saying we don't need to talk to apps.
Maybe it's
and
true.
Yeah. Also, use the products. That's
Use the products. That has been a very hot topic on the timeline recently.
I mean,
is
I am
whether or
a
not-
user of the products.
I'm a-
so
And you're not
poor
happy.
people can
user.
talk to me. Yeah.
and you're not happy with the products.
I just don't think interoperability is solved
oof.
as a user
Also,
of products.
no, I have a clip from this recording of you saying that you came into this thinking it wasn't solved and then
Whoa. check
changed
the
your
tape.
mind. Check the tape.
I actually
I said I understand that it's solved from the infra backend
Correct.
side,
Correct.
but
Which
I
is my
still
point.
don't
That is
think
my
it's.
That's my point. That was the point of the narrative.
Yeah.
Interop
So
is
what's
solved
next
from
is, guys,
build
UX.
the applications.
Yeah.
Build
Talk to
good
people like
applications.
me that use apps and work on your narrative.
Yeah.
Narrative.
We are a big part of Stargate's focus this year is making the user experience and like the user experience a lot better, because we focused for a long time on building good technology and good infrastructure, and I think we have like unlocked a tremendous amount from the like asset issuance and value transfer infrastructure perspective. And so now we're going to spend a lot of our time making sure that the user experience is better, both like within Stargate and Stargate as a product, but also a lot of other applications out there.
As a user, I appreciate that.
It's actually for you.
Just for me.
You specifically.
I mean, it makes sense because I have $100 million.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So,
You're a
like,
very
yeah.
valuable user.
You and the one other whale out there.
Yeah, LDF.
Wow.
Yeah.
The two biggest Stargate users.
Yeah.
One other quick follow-up question I was going to ask is, for the end user who doesn't know how the technical backend works, what's the like best, easiest way for us to check if like I'm using Stargate, I'm hearing about Stargate for the first time, or I Google, how I
Google
dump my airdrop,
If you
and
Google
Stargate
Stargate-
comes up,
Bitsbridge.com.
and I'm like, Stargate, is this legit? Should I click on it? Like, what is the best way for somebody like me who can't read code to verify whether something is trustworthy and secure?
Can I ask you a clarifying question?
Yes.
Does it matter? should it matter to the user what the underlying technology is, or should we as application builders ensure that the technology is sound such that the user can assume that it's sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
But there's so many scammers. So how should I?
That
can
is
I
a
Google
problem of our
interfaces?
industry. Okay,
What?
Don't Google interfaces in crypto.
Yeah, go to cheapestbridge.com.
Yeah.
That's how you'll get there. But I think it is on the application developers and builders to ensure that what they are building.
I agree.
is-
I agree. But so many application builders and developers are not trustworthy.
Well, they're going
And
to
so
be the
us-
exact ones that don't include the information in their docs. And so that's a them problem.
So what info in the docs should the end user be looking out for to verify?
I think end users, if they really care, they should be looking at like the again, specifically to interop and bridging, because that's what I care most about. I think you should be looking at the architecture and looking at like what are the dispute or resolution mechanisms if your transaction fails. Because your whole point is that you have assets over here and you want them over here, and what you care about is what happens if they don't get over here. Like who do you go to?
Right.
And when we were building Stargate, it was very important for us. We built a message-based bridge. Every single transaction is verified before it gets to the destination. Every single transaction ever on Stargate has succeeded. But there are other bridges out there where your dispute resolution mechanism in a cryptographic world between two chains is to go to Discord and open a ticket. And that doesn't feel right.
Can you come back for every episode?
Between three chains.
No.
I want to be a host.
No.
No, you're between
No,
the
you're
two
between
chains.
the two chains.
Yeah. This is literally
He
exactly
doesn't,
how
get it. It's like very clear.
I get it now.
Okay.
45 minutes.
You kind of
into this
ruined
thing.
it. Yeah. Anyway, okay, I know you don't have a ton of time left, but what?
I have plenty of time.
Oh, you have. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Let's keep going then.
I think
I
we
am
need
the
to-
new
stuck here.
host.
I think
You're
we do need a.
This
we
is
do need
just.
a-
This
yeah.
is just three
okay.
chains now.
3 chains. There's no between. It's just 3 chains.
No. That's too much.
Should we
Too far.
wrapped assets?
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's taboo.
I want to know what asks, wishes, dreams you have that you would like to tell the people or ask from the people.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is this
AKA
about Instagram?
Santa.
I'm just asking questions.
In general?
So I'm just.
I would like for people to be intellectually honest about what they build, such that the users can find out what they are doing. Because I think it's important when like you choose to build in an industry like ours that you are building things that will make the world better, specifically like DeFi. The goal is for it to be better than TradFi, right? Hopefully.
Hopefully.
And so make sure, I actually just tweeted this when I was standing outside. Like make sure you actually do the thing that you say you're going to do when you're like, yeah, we'll decentralize later. Trust me, bro. And then you kind of don't. It's,
Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Favorite line.
It's just like scary because every single year something happens in our industry and people lose money and people don't do the thing they say they're going to do and they're going to do it later. And I think it's important that like people remain intellectually honest and challenge the things that they're building. Because I think that's what our space is here to do. So Santa,
I
if
like
you're
that.
out there,
Santa.
that's what I want
Santa, this is for you.
for Christmas. Intellectual honesty.
You're going to wait until Christmas?
When does this go out?
Like now.
November.
It's at live.
What?
Right now.
You want us to wait like 9
what do you
months to
mean?
publish this?
My birthday's soon.
When's your birthday?
It's not actually soon.
Like,
It's a long
Again.
ways away.
we
don't
want
know that.
intellectual honesty now.
But they don't know that.
I'm also not saying my birthday on
Wow.
Also, like, yeah.
As you
No,
guys have
right
lied
now.
all episode about
What?
never dumping
Don't
your
group
airdrops.
me into
Whoa.
this.
I, for the record, have sold an airdrop before.
I knew it. Thank you for your intellectual
Diana
honesty.
hasn't. Diana has tried to sell an airdrop. We'll get there.
We'll get. I'm gonna check out Stargate. Yeah.
Amazing.
Right?
should.
Stargate's gonna get me there, right?
Cheapestbridge.com.
Yes.
I'm gonna be able to dump all my airdrops now on Stargate.
Yes.
You should rebrand. This is your new.
That's on God.
Well, thank you so much, Angus. Where can people go to follow you and find you and read your 3,000 something 900
Too many tweets.
too many
Too
tweets?
many.
Yeah.
I didn't get that many yaps. I'm Angus Lamps on Twitter, but also follow Stargate Finance for all your airdrop movement needs.
Especially if you have $100 million that you need to move.
Particularly because you couldn't go anywhere else. Only Stargate offers that
Wow.
size. So
Wow.
Guess I'm only using Stargate.
that's the TLDR.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Angus.
coming.
This was between two chains.
This was between 3 chains.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Between two chains.
Yeah.